Hello. Welcome to the Dialogue webinar. Today's topic is APL. Sorry, force of habit there. So used to doing the webinars so regularly. No, today I'm going to quickly run you through all sorts of things that have been happening in the online space to do with APL. So first off, 2020. As we all know, this year was cancelled. They just struck it off, basically. No, this this big cloud has sort of loomed over us for quite some time. It looks like it'll be some time to come, and obviously one of the big losses for us has been not being able to attend in-person meetings like we usually do. I was fortunate enough to go to Finland and Germany at the tail end of last year, and it was fantastic meeting all you users there. Now, fortunately for Dyalog and many of our customers, as Gitta said yesterday, we've been able to transition our work to this sort of online remote working fairly seamlessly, but obviously, there's nothing quite like the high fidelity, high definition experience of face-to-face communication. But we have all been forced to adapt in this way. And so this cloud has had something as of a silver lining, as so many user meetings, so many meetings of the user groups, which are spread all across the world of APL, have been forced to go online. And actually this has had, yes, the perverse effect that the number of attendees has actually gone up quite a lot. And the APL community itself has been more connected, I'd say, than it has been in a while for this reason. So that's been quite amazing. Not only have individual events, sort of the ones that in person have been postponed and then all moved online, happened, but also, so when the British APL Association's spring mini conference was postponed, they took the initiative to start having online live Zoom gatherings every 2 weeks, and they coordinated with us. So we interspersed our webinars with their Zoom meetings, and there was a large period of this year where every single week there was an online live APL event, which was actually pretty amazing. And it's been great to have people, I suppose, for the meetings I've been at, it's been particularly Europe and the US, but all across the world, people have been able to attend these things in a way that wasn't possible when they were all in person. So that's kind of been good. This is a screenshot from the APL wiki. On the right-hand side, you've got the British APL Association sort of events there, and it's been a really nice mix of recreation and applications, use cases and tools for development, as well as community discussion. On the Dialogue webinar side, you can see it's been the Richard and Adam show this year, but I don't think anyone's minded that much. We have largely focused on language features, I suppose partly from my end for taking users who have sort of done the basics of APL and learned the basics of the primitives and getting them up to that level where you're starting to think in array-oriented ways and you're really thinking in terms of the primitives and the language. And Adam has also been focusing largely on, the cutting-edge language features, some of which are sort of pulled in from long-term discussions over the years and, people's experience using APL. I'll talk about what we're going to do moving forward later, but I just want to give a shout out to the APL Orchard. So, sort of online voice and video chat user space has been sort of seen an uptick this year, but the APL Orchard has sort of been steady sailing for quite some time. You might know of this, it's a chat room on Stack Exchange, and it's quite amazing how you can get, if you have a question about APL, all the way beginner, intermediate, advanced, or user or implementer, you can ask your question and you'll Sorry, I just got a message. Yeah, and you'll get a response the same day, pretty much all the time, or often you'll get it the same hour that you asked. So that's quite amazing. You can see here we get like 1,600 messages per week on average. Up till now, there's been like 120,000 messages almost. I don't know what the state is exactly today. It's probably gone up since I took the screenshot. 221 users. But of course, it's a conversation style. It's kind of stream of consciousness, and it can feel a bit awkward if you go there. If you're unfamiliar, it's a bit like walking into a room and people are already mid-conversation. So fortunately, for some of the sessions where Adam has been hosting his APL cultivation lessons, he's taken those chunks of messages and put them, sort of organize them in a way so you can find, this is another screenshot of the APL wiki. If you go on there and search APL cultivation, you can find links to all of those lessons. Again, in a conversational style, but about all kinds of different topics. Now, obviously, like I say, the conversation style is a little bit off-putting, although it has its advantages. The Stack Overflow sort of site is kind of the de facto place where people ask programming questions about, especially other languages, but there is a steady trickle of APL questions. Actually, I'd like to encourage people, if you have an APL question, please consider asking it on Stack Overflow, because if you've had the question, then there's a good chance that someone else has the same question. And it'd be good if we could start to really build up the knowledge base on here so that people can find their answers without even having to ask, basically. Of course, if you're talking about Dyalog specifically, the forums continue to be a great place to go and ask questions. You can see all the timestamps here, like 2020. Stuff is active, but I also wanted to give a shout out to Roger. If you saw his presentation yesterday on rational arithmetic and you really enjoyed that, I can tell you that he's been posting kind of similar type content in the APL forums recently. So it's, mathematically primitives and different algorithms stuff. And that's been really great. So thanks a lot for that, Roger. It's really good. So yeah, internally, or, in the APL community, as it were, we have seen this sort of uptick of online activity this year for obvious reasons. But I also want to give a shout out to Connor Hoekstra at code_report on YouTube and Twitter, I know. He also was attending the user meeting, at least yesterday. I don't know if he's here today, but I saw him in the comments there. So that was really good to see. And he also has been attending the BAA open sessions. So it's been really nice to meet you, Connor, there. But in particular, this YouTube comment I want to point out from 8 months ago. He says, I'm giving a talk. Connor's here. Hello. Sorry for throwing you under the bus like this, but yes, you say you are giving a talk on APL this year. It will be epic, and you will see that APL was one of the greatest languages created and is very misunderstood. Now, we believe this. You know that we think this, but oh, sorry, I want to say that as far as I know, the event which caused this, the event for this talk was postponed or something. So, this hasn't happened, but as far as I'm aware, and Connor can confirm or deny this, it's maybe going to happen next year or something. So something to look forward to. But in particular, it's really nice to see someone, I mean, I guess we count you as part of the APL community now, but someone who's sort of out of the, traditional APL community, what you'd think of there, carrying the torch and spreading the gospel, as we said last year. Or rather taking on the Sisyphean task of trying to convince other people that APL is worth putting their time and effort in. In fact, Gitter's slide of Sisyphus pushing up the rock from yesterday was, pushing up the boulder, was a bit poetic for me, thinking about this. But yeah, so that's next year. In fact, Connor has confirmed, yes, it will be in 2021 now. It was supposed to be May 2020, but that was cancelled. C'est la vie. Yeah, if you want something more recent, this is a video which you can go and watch now from October. It's One Problem, 8 Programming Languages. Connor is something of a polyglot, but I just want to, again, be a bit mean and throw his quote out there. So hopefully you can hear this.
That, feel free to leave a comment in the section down below. And that puts it number 1, Dyalog' APL. I'm sure many of you are rolling your eyes, but like I said, this is my personal rankings. APL is my favorite language. I had the most fun by far solving this in APL. Most of the...
Yeah, so pretty powerful quote there. Thank you, Connor. Sorry if that's a bit forward. It's on YouTube, what you're going to do. Okay. Yeah, I got a few more things to talk about. As you can see, a number of my slides today have been straight up screenshots of the APL wiki, and I can't really emphasize enough how much this has come along in the last year. So we sort of did the revamp at the end of last year, but since then it's just sort of steadily had a build up of articles and resources. I think previously there'd been this thing in APL Online where the information was spread out on different users, individual websites and things like this. And we're really trying to push to have a kind of centralized repository here where people can find up-to-date and relevant information about APL. If you know of something from the old wiki that you remember and you like, don't worry, it's still there. There is an ongoing effort to migrate a lot of the content, not exactly all of it, but you can go to old.aplwiki.com and find that. So that was 2020. What's coming up in 2021? We have the BAA Zoom sessions, as far as I know, are sort of continuing. No evidence of that slowing down. Those have been fantastic. Thanks to those who've attended there. Dyalog' webinars, I'm not going to give a definite date on when they're coming back, but we do intend to bring those back. And also the idea that we will, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Hopefully, okay, I think I'm still going along. Yeah, do some things which are more of a workshop style where it's a bit more interactive than some of the webinars have been. Otherwise, we're intending to release more series of shorter videos and tutorials on specific things, both some more of the language stuff, but also more application development tools, and for people who want to deploy their applications and maintain them into the future. And I want to give a shout out as well. If you saw him yesterday, boy, Rodrigo Serrao, you might have seen his presentation on his rework of mastering Dyalog' APL. He also has a YouTube series, which is live now. I think you can watch it, on learning APL from scratch with a focus on neural networks. So this is coming from zero APL knowledge, zero neural networks knowledge, and building up a foundation in both. So yeah, you can search for that on YouTube. Maybe use double quotes to make sure the search goes through. I don't think it's that high on the ranking yet. As has been mentioned, there's a revamp to Try APL. Here's a preview of it. I haven't got time to go into loads of the detail, but this will be another one of the videos. We'll probably do one video about the interface and one about the technology that goes into it. It is a Jarvis app as well. We also have, Brian mentioned this briefly, problems.tryapl.org. This is basically automatic validation in the style that we do for phase 1 these days of the APL problem solving competition. But one of our other summer intern, not Rodrigo, but Ollie, did all the legwork in going through the old problem sets and coming up with both example solutions and test cases to allow this site to work. If you're interested in interning for Dyalog', you can always email careers@dyalog'.com, see if you'd like to work with us. I have a course, I guess I'm running out of time, but for now, it's like APL workshop is the chat telling me to hurry up? Yeah, all right, we're done. Sorry. You can go on this URL, rikedyp.github.io/APL workshop if you want to give me feedback on this. It's a work in progress, and as it develops into maturity, it'll probably go on like an official Dyalog' domain somewhere. So APL Online, user groups are on the APL wiki. Look for community, help us fill in some of these red boxes. BAA and Dialog webinars, dates coming up. New Try APL, problem sets, apple cart's coming along, Tatan, looking good. And if you can't wait for another APL meeting, then come along next week to the British APL Association open session. They're sort of every 2 Thursdays on Zoom. And you can find more from the British APL Association.org website. Also, last thing, sorry for going a minute over, but Frankfurt APLers has a gathering. You can probably contact Michael to find out more, but there's also information linked on our website. Okay. Sorry for rushing at the end there. I believe I'm over time, but yep. Thank you.